everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Mortal Kombat X figures from Mezco Toys. Now these figures come packaged on pretty standardized card backs. You've got artwork for each of the characters up in the top corner. You've got the Mortal Kombat logo, and off to the side you have the name of the characters. And the figures are clearly displayed. On the back you have images of the figures, brief bios, and then a look at the accessories that each of the figures come with. Alright, let's get these open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the three figures outside of the packaging along with their contents. First of all, each figure comes with a figure stand, so you get this circular base and you've got the Mortal Kombat logo sculpted on it, and the base has a little peg so you can plug the figure in just like a regular figure stand. And then you also get this little arm piece that you can plug in, so you've got the hole in the base and you just plug in the arm piece. Now if you're going to use the arm piece, you also basically the arm plugs into the hole and uses the peg. And then basically each of the figures have a hole in the back, so this is basically kind of like a little flight stand, and you've got some articulation on this little peg up here at the top. There's no other articulation other than you can't even rotate it because it's got the double peg system basically. So what you do is you just plug in the stand into the back of the figure. So basically it allows you to get your figure into jumping or flight poses, which is pretty cool. So out of the three figures, Raiden has the least stuff. The only other thing he comes with besides the figure stand is this alternate right hand, and it's got the energy shooting out of the fingers. And I like how they've done this. It's got pretty nice sculpting, and they've used a light blue paint with some whitewash mixed in, and it goes all the way up to the fingers. And then for the hand, it's got just black with some gold trim. So I like the detailing and everything. And basically what you do is you just take the right hand that you want to replace and you just pull it out, and it's got the little peg on the hands, and then you just plug in the hand that you want to replace it with. And so you only get one of these. It would have been cool if they'd given us a right and a left hand with the energy shooting, but as it is, you just get the one. SubZero gets two accessories besides the figure stand. So first of all, he gets this ice hammer, and this is done with a light blue paint with a whitewash to give you that ice look. I like the sculpting on the mallet part with all the line work and the jagged edges on the front and the back of it to give you that ice look. And then you got a bunch of divots and everything on the handle. He can hold this in either the right or the left hand, and it just slides right in. And you can actually get it in two-handed poses as well. And then the other accessory he comes with is an alternate right hand. So he's got a right hand that's basically holding a snowball, and the snowball again is done with a light blue paint with the white mixed in for that wash effect, and you've got some line work sculpted on there to give it an ice look. So let's just say it's an ice ball, not a snowball. And you just pop out the hand you want to replace and pop in the new one, and again it fits in nice and tight. Finally, Scorpion has the most accessories. He gets two swords, and the swords look exactly the same, and you can see you can attach the swords to the back of the figure, very similar to what we saw with the 6-inch version. You just kind of slide the blade between these two straps on his back. Now it can be a little difficult to get the swords to stay. The left side, this sword is harder to get in than the right one, at least on my figure, but you can make it work. And the swords, like I said, are exactly the same. You've got a metallic silver on the blades, and then you've got a darker gray on the handles. You also have some brown painted on there to give it the look of the leather strapping, and you got the sculpting, nice sculpting detail with the little squares on the end of it. And he can hold the swords in both hands, and he holds the sword nice and tight. Now the other accessory that he comes with is an alternate right hand that's shooting out the little spike chain. So again, like we saw with the other two figures, you just pull out the hand and plug in the one that you want to replace it. So now it looks like he's shooting out the little chain spike. So sculpting and paint applications on these figures, especially for such small scale figures, I think is really nice, on par with the 6-inch versions that Mezco released. I like the detailing with the mask on a Scorpion. You can see he's got the yellow with some sculpting in there, and you've got some metallic gold on the mask as well. The mask is not removable like it was on the 6-inch figure. The hood piece is made with a vinyl type material, so it does have some flexibility there. Same with this tunic piece that hangs down. But again, I just like the overall sculpting on the outfit. And you've got the black and the yellow and the brown for all the straps. And you've got some metallic silver for the buckles on the straps. So again, I like that detailing. Skin tone is not too bad. Maybe a little bit too red, but overall I don't think the skin tone is too bad. He's got the whited out eyes. Same with SubZero. Like the sculpting detail on his outfit. I like with the padding, with the little line work in the padding, so it looks like padding. Again, this tunic piece is kind of a vinyl material that hangs down. He's also got this little strap that hangs off the back of his mask. You want to be careful not to pull on that too much. You might pull it off. But even got nice sculpting detail on the back of the figure. Nice solid blue color with the black, and again some brown color for these little straps holding his knives here, and you've got some metallic silver, and again here on his wrists. So just for such a small scale figure, there's some really nice sculpting detail and pretty solid paint applications. I haven't noticed any real sloppy paint or anything on these figures. And finally, with Raiden, he's got this hat. The hat is not removable. Mine actually came out of the packaging, so that back of the hat was bent a little bit. You could probably take a blow dryer and straighten that out. I would be careful pulling on this hat because it looks like you could pull it off possibly. It feels like it's just glued on there. So do be careful when you're, posing it around and stuff. But again, I like the sculpting detail on the face. He's got the whited out eyes. I like the sculpting on his upper shirt and this tunic piece that comes down. And again, that's a vinyl type material, so it's got some give to it. And he's got some sculpting detail here on these wrist gauntlets. So just again, really nice paint detail and sculpting throughout these little figures. So Scorpion is the tallest of the three figures, and he stands right at 4 inches, while Raiden and SubZero are a little bit under 4 inches, so they're just a little bit shorter. Overall though, all three of these are pretty close to the same height. And then here's a comparison with some other 3 1/4 inch scale lines. So we've got the DC Multiverse Deathstroke, a G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, and a Marvel Universe Daredevil figure. So for articulation, it's pretty much the same across the board. Some have a little better movement in places than others, but you can turn the heads to the left and the right, and you can do the heads down pretty good, and you can do them forward, but they can't really look back very much. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder so they can get their arms out good and have good rotation. They don't have bicep swivels, only have single hinged elbows, so they can only bend their elbows about that much. They do have swivels at the elbow, swivels at the wrist, hinges on the hands, so good up and down movement there at the hands. They have waist swivels. SubZero's is under his costume, so he can swivel like that, where the others are basically here, and then Raiden is here. Now with Raiden and Scorpion, they don't really have much in the way of crunch. Raiden really can't crunch forward at all there at the waist or look back. SubZero has a little more movement than Raiden, but not a whole lot. And then Scorpion actually has the best movement there. He can actually look forward pretty good, and he can look back a bit as well. Legs are attached with ball joints, so SubZero can do the splits pretty well. Scorpion can only do the splits about that much, and then Raiden can only do the splits about that much. Actually, Raiden can do the splits pretty well. Raiden, however, can't get his leg forward very much. That's about as much forward as you can get the leg, and then he can only do his leg back that much. SubZero can get his leg forward good and can do it back good, and then Scorpion can do his leg forward pretty good and can do it back. Scorpion is the only one that has a thigh swivel. The others do not. Then they all have the single hinged knee, so they can only bend their knees about that much. And then they have hinges on the feet, so have up and down movement, and they have rotation at the feet, but they do not have ankle pivot. And 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I think these figures have nice sculpting detail and solid paint applications. The articulation could be a little better. Things like double jointed knees and elbows would be nice. But especially for a line of this scale, I think these are really nice looking figures. Now the biggest downside to them is, as far as I know of, these are the only 3 figures that Mezco is going to be releasing in this scale. So it's really kind of up to you and how much of a Mortal Kombat fan you are, if it's worth investing in a line that's only going to see 3 figures. Now these figures are hitting shelves now. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.